Hello everyone. Welcome to the fifth video of the distance learning program. I'm happy to be here with you today, and I hope the videos have been helpful to you so far. The focus of today's lesson is going to be on neighborhood problems. Neighborhood problems. And I have a few questions for you before we start the lesson. So think about these questions and think about how you would answer them. The first question is, what is a neighborhood? What is a neighborhood? Well, most of you would probably say that a neighborhood is the subdivision where you live, or the streets that are close to your house, or maybe you might even say your neighborhood is the street you live on. And that would be correct. So your neighborhood is the area that's closest to where you live. I live very close to the Kroger that's on Johnson Ferry Road, and my neighborhood is right behind the Kroger, and it's called the Villas. So the little neighborhood that I live in is just right behind the Kroger on Johnson Ferry Road. The next question is, how long have you lived in your neighborhood? How long have you lived in your neighborhood? That means, for what amount of time have you been living in your neighborhood? For how long? Next, are there stores in your neighborhood? Well, I just told you that the Kroger is very close to where I live, so that whole mall or the little shopping strip that the Kroger is located in is very close to my house, so we have many stores in my neighborhood. The next question is, do you know your neighbors? Have you ever asked your neighbors for help? Have you ever asked your neighbors for help? And have you ever offered to help a neighbor? Have you ever offered to help a neighbor? That means, did you ever ask a neighbor if they needed any help? And then you could say, well, I'd be happy to help you. That would be offering to help a neighbor. Now, if you could turn to page 32, which is this page in the Ventures3 book, page 32, I'd like to look at these pictures 1 through 5 and ask you a few questions. So please open your book to page 32, the listening exercise in the Ventures3 book. It says, before you listen, what do you see? So let's look at each of these pictures and describe what we see. In picture number 1, which is the top left picture right here, what do you see here? This is called a smoke alarm. And it looks like the smoke alarm is beeping because the light is red and it looks like it might be flashing, so the smoke alarm is beeping. These smoke alarms are usually located on the ceiling above the kitchen. Now, if you look right here below the smoke alarm, it appears that there is some smoke. So maybe that's one of the reasons that the smoke alarm is beeping. What could be another reason the smoke alarm might beep? Well, sometimes the smoke alarm will beep when the battery is low. So that means that you might have to change the battery. Let's take a look at picture number 2. In picture number 2, we see a woman and she's holding a coffee cup. What is she doing? She's looking up. She's looking up. So she might be looking up at the smoke alarm. Also, in her left hand, she's holding a cell phone. So it appears that she might be talking on the cell phone. Maybe she's talking to a neighbor. What's behind her? If you look behind her, it appears that there are some kitchen cabinets. She also has an earring in her right ear. You can see the earring, and she's wearing her hair in a bun. It's pulled up in the back. Now, let's take a look at picture number 3. Picture number 3, there's a picture of another woman, and she's wearing an apron. So she's probably in the kitchen too. And since her hand is up close to her face, she's probably talking on the phone also. And it says her name is Maria. This is a stew pot right here, a pot that you use to make stew. What else can we see? She's wearing her hair in a ponytail. We call that a ponytail. Now, let's look at picture number 4. Picture number 4 is a picture of a man, and he's holding a step ladder. This is a ladder that you use to reach high places. Behind him, you can see a fence, and over here are some trees. And it says here that his name is Daniel. What is Daniel wearing? Daniel is wearing a t-shirt. And finally, in picture number 5, we see the inside of the smoke alarm. If you remove the cover of the smoke alarm, this is what the inside of the smoke alarm looks like. And what is the person holding in their fingers? This looks like a battery. The battery is what you use to power the smoke alarm. And when the battery needs to be replaced, the smoke alarm will beep. Now, once we've looked at all the pictures, I can ask you, what is happening? What is happening? What are some answers that you might give for what is happening? Well, you could say possibly that Anna and Maria are talking on the cell phone. They're talking to each other because they're both on the phone. And you might think that Anna, since she's looking at her smoke alarm, you could say that there's a possibility that Anna might be talking to Maria about her smoke alarm. And since this last picture shows a picture of a battery, it might be possible that Anna is asking Maria if she knows how to change the battery in the smoke alarm, or if she can help change the battery in the smoke alarm. And it appears that since Daniel has a stepladder, maybe he's going to help to change the smoke alarm battery. Next, I'd like to read the article, the conversation between Anna and Maria, and I'm going to read the 2 parts, and I'm going to point to the person who is speaking so that you'll know who's speaking. So it says, hello, and this is Maria saying hello. And Anna says, Maria? Hi, it's Anna. Hey, hi Anna, how are you? Good, thanks, but I've been super busy. Listen, Maria, do you have a minute to talk? Are you eating dinner? No, we've eaten. What's up? Well, I need a favor. Sure, Anna. What is it? The smoke alarm in my kitchen is beeping. Beep, beep, beep. I need to change the battery, but the ceiling's too high. And remember, too high means it's beyond reach. It's further away than she can reach. Can I borrow your ladder? Sure, but I have a better idea. Daniel can come over and change the battery for you. Really? Are you sure he has enough time? Oh, Anna, you know Daniel. He is never too busy to help a neighbor. He'll come over in a few minutes. I'm sorry, in 5 minutes. Thanks. I really appreciate it. I owe you one. See you. Wait, Anna. I want to ask you something. Did you hear our noisy neighbors last Saturday night? They had a party until 3 in the morning. Because of the noise, we couldn't sleep at all. Gosh, that's too bad, Maria. I didn't hear anything. But you should complain to the manager. Yeah, I know. I'll do it tomorrow. All right. Now that we've finished reading the article, I'd like to answer the 2 questions that are on page 33. On page 33, it says, who are the speakers? Well, the speakers are the 2 ladies that are pictured here on page 32. One of the speakers is Anna, and the other speaker is Maria. So the 2 speakers are Anna and Maria. And it says, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Well, Anna and Maria are talking about replacing the battery in the smoke alarm. So I would say that they need to replace the battery in the smoke alarm. And they're talking about changing the battery. Then, in part B of the listening section, it says, listen again, put a check next to Anna's problems. Put a check next to Anna's problems. So, if you look at the 6 problems, the first one is already checked in the book. It says, been busy. So, Anna says that she's been busy, so that would be checked. The next one, number 2, it says children sick. Well, they didn't discuss anything about children, so you would not check that box. That is not one of Anna's problems. Number 3, the ceiling is too high. Well, Anna did say that the ceiling was too high, and that's why she needed to borrow a ladder. So you would check that box. Number 4 says car alarm broken. There was nothing discussed about a car alarm, and so therefore you would not check that. Number 5 says smoke alarm needs battery. And that's exactly the reason why Anna was calling Maria. She needed to get the battery changed. So I would say check that box. And then it says neighbors are noisy. Neighbors are noisy. Well, that was not a problem that Anna was having. That was a problem that Maria was having. So you would not check that box. Now, let's go to section 3, and we'll proceed with answering the blanks in this section here. First, I'd like to read the words that are in part A. So if you'll look at this gray box right here, I'm going to read all of the words. So please follow after me. The first word is alarm. Alarm. Next, appreciates. Appreciates. Battery. Battery. Borrow. Borrow. Come over. Come over. Complain. Complain. Favor. Favor. Noise. Noise. Noisy. Noisy. And finally, oh. Oh. So hopefully you know the meaning of all of these words, but if you don't know, you can always look them up in the dictionary, or if you want a more detailed explanation, you can text me or email me and I'll help you, okay? For that matter, if you have any questions about any of the problems that we're going over, you can always text me or email me and I'll be happy to help you. Now what we'd like to do is look at this section here in the green box, and we're going to fill in the blanks with the correct words from the gray box. So the words that I just pronounced, we're going to use those words in the green box and fill in the blanks. So let's continue. It says Anna and Maria are neighbors. Anna calls Maria because she needs a blank, and the book has already filled it in. They said favor. The smoke blank in Anna's kitchen is beeping. So you have to think, what word would be something that would beep? Well, the answer would be alarm. Remember, the alarm is what beeps when it detects smoke. So the word for number 2 would be alarm. Then it says she needs to change the blank, but the ceiling in her kitchen is too high. Well, do you remember what I said sometimes needs to be changed in a smoke alarm? That's called the battery. The battery. So the number 3 blank would be battery. And then finally, number 4 says Anna asks to blank Maria's ladder. And if you want to use someone's ladder, you would ask them, may I borrow your ladder? So the answer for number 4 is borrow. That means you would like to use it for a short time and return it. Maria says her husband Daniel will blank with a ladder and help Anna. Well, remember from the conversation, she said Daniel will come over. That means he's going to bring the ladder and come to your house to help change the battery. So come over would be the answer for number 5. Anna says, I blank you one. And the answer for 6 is owe. I owe you one. That means next time I'll do a favor for you. This means she blank Maria and Daniel's help. And the answer for 7 is appreciates. That means she understands that Maria and Daniel are doing her a favor and she is grateful for their help. And she will do a favor for them in the future. Next, Maria tells Anna about their blank neighbors. So 8 means noisy. Noisy would be the neighbors. They make a lot of noise. Noisy is an adjective that describes something that makes a lot of noise. The neighbors had a party on Saturday night. Because of the blank, Maria and Daniel couldn't sleep. And the answer to that would be noise. It was too loud and they couldn't sleep. So the answer is noise. Anna tells Maria that she should blank to the apartment manager. And the word for number 10 is complain. Complain means that you tell someone that you don't like something. And if you tell that to the apartment manager, then maybe the apartment manager would speak to the neighbors and try to ask them to not make so much noise. Then finally, at the bottom of the page, it says useful language. When you borrow something from someone, you receive it. That means they had it before and now you have it, so you receive it from them. When you lend something to someone, you give it for a short time. So if I was to lend you $1, that means I would give you $1 and maybe you'd buy a Coke and then you would return the dollar to me later. So I'm lending you $1, but you're borrowing $1 from me because you'd like to buy a Coke and you don't have any money. So that's the difference between lend and borrow. Lend means to give something to someone for a short time. Borrow means to receive something from someone for a short time, and then you'll return it later. Well, I hope that this was an interesting lesson for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the future, and I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll tune in for the next lesson. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.